It's been about 6 months since I've shown you all what I take with me whenever I leave the house in terms of tech, and so much has changed since then, and this is actually a better time of year to make the video because in the later half of the year so much changes in terms of technology. So I wanted to keep you all up to date of all the EDC I'm using at the moment, and of course, like usual, I'm going to break this into the essentials list and the maybes list, and I will try my best to link everything in the description below. So let's get right into it. Okay, first up, let's talk about my phone, and it probably won't come as a huge surprise, but I'm using the iPhone 14 Pro Max in the deep purple colorway. Generally speaking, there's 3 reasons I use an iPhone, and I've explained before, so I don't want to jump into it too hard, but one is I'm in the Apple ecosystem, so it just makes sense for me to be on an iPhone. 2 is it's got fantastic camera, display, and battery life, which is something I really need as a creator, something which keeps on going all day and is fantastic with social media apps, which is really important. And thirdly, and this is probably the most important of all those things, is all of my friends and immediate family use an iPhone, so I stay connected to them a lot easier. With the iPhone 14 Pro Max, you're getting the cool updates like the dynamic island and obviously the 48 megapixel camera, which was the huge upgrade here, and that was kind of one of the reasons which really made me kind of jump up from the 13 Pro, is that the camera on here is absolutely fantastic, and some of the photos and some of the video I've taken with this phone have just been incredible. It kind of means I don't take out my dedicated camera as much as I used to because the Pro RAW mode on here is just so fantastic, and you can edit the photos in Lightroom and get some really nice results. Every photo I upload to kind of Instagram or Twitter or wherever else has all been edited too, and I've been using my own set of presets for this, which I'm really happy to say I've just released in a brand new pack. So if you do want to edit in a similar way to I do and you use Lightroom and you like that kind of grainy sort of pastel vibe, which I kind of push here on the channel massively, then check it out. It helps support the channel, and I'll link it in the description below. Not to mention the battery life on the Pro Max series is why I always stay with the bigger phone. It just means I never ever have to worry about battery life on these devices, and I get through a day absolutely no problems on here, and I can even stretch it to 2 days if I need to as well. One thing I will say though is upgrading your phone every year isn't particularly healthy behavior, but because I make content and because I post on social media and because of all those things kind of added up, it just means having the newer device makes my business life a lot easier. So that's generally speaking why I always stay up to date with it. If I wasn't making content on YouTube, I'd probably still be using my iPhone 10 or 11 and I'd be more than happy with that. Or maybe I'd even jump over to Android. But for me, and for now, the iPhone 14 Pro Max is my phone of choice. Next up is the phone case, which I use on this, which I don't use all the time, but I use it occasionally, and when I do use it, I generally get so many questions about it. But this is just a really simple Apple official silicone case. They're relatively expensive, but it is in this wonderful colorway, which is the succulent one, and combined with the deep purple kind of iPhone underneath it, it just looks gorgeous. And this case has been really nice. Generally speaking, I'm not huge on cases. I've used some Rhino Shield ones before, which I've really liked, but I saw this one in the Apple store and I gave it a go, and I was like, do you know what? This is actually really nice. And one of my favorite things about it is when you snap the phone in, it kind of makes the MagSafe noise and it matches the color of the case you put it in. Ooh. Which is kind of like weirdly satisfying, but it just feels really good. It's nice to hold in the hand, feels nice and protective, it's got a bit of a lip. And yeah, when I'm going out somewhere where I think my phone might be dropped or something like that, then this is the case I drop it into. And yeah, I just really like it. Moving on from there is something which I picked up recently and I really love it, but it probably should be in the maybes because I don't use it every day, but I wanted to talk about it. And this is the Anker MagGo wireless charger with MagSafe, and this thing is so cool. And I kind of knew they were around for a while, but I only picked it up recently because I've been going on some longer journeys and I thought, you know, maybe I'll need this. At its core, this is just an external battery bank, but it snaps to your iPhone and charges it wirelessly through MagSafe, which I really like. And not to mention, it also acts as a stand as well. So you can have your iPhone standing up if you're trying to watch something, or if you want it standing up next to your laptop or something like that, and it will charge that up too. And obviously I really love the color on this one. It just matches everything else I've got going on, including the new case I got for my iPhone, and it's just absolutely brilliant. It doesn't charge up a Pro Max phone entirely, but it gives you about 50 to 60%, which is enough if you're kind of in a bit of a pinch. What I also like about it too is it also doubles up as a wireless charger for kind of anything. So you can throw your AirPods on there if you need a bit of a charge, or if a friend's phone is running low, you can just chuck their phone on it and it will charge up too. I'm almost annoyed at myself for not picking this up sooner because I absolutely love it. But yeah, that's the Anker MagGo wireless power. Really cool little device. Let's talk about watches now, because I wanted to talk about this Apple Watch Series 8, which is an upgrade for me. I've been using the Series 4 since 2018, and very recently I jumped up to the Series 8. And what I want to say is I do regret it ever so slightly. While I really like this watch and I think the screen update is just wonderful and the battery life and all those sorts of things are fantastic, the Apple Watch Ultra was just really nice, and I saw that in the Apple Store and I had a quick go on it, and I just think perhaps I should have just jumped to that because that was like a really serious upgrade. I've got quite big wrists, so it would fit on me nicely. But the other thing I do think as well is I jumped up to the Series 8 and all the features that came with that I don't really use. So I think I probably could have jumped to the Series 7 and kind of gotten every single new feature that I was looking for and saved a bit of money too. But I did go for the Series 8 and I have been really enjoying it. It's actually the thing that started off this succulent kind of colorway thing for me because it came with that succulent band and I've just really liked it. One of the things that I really enjoy the most on it though is the newer Apple Watch faces. The one where all the numbers are kind of pushed to the edge looks absolutely gorgeous, and some of the ones which are a bit more complicated are actually really nice too, and you can color customize those as well. Generally speaking though, I've really enjoyed this update. The battery life alone has kind of been worth it, and the fact this can charge up quite a lot quicker than my old one as well is just really nice to have. It means I don't have to charge it overnight, and I can just put it on charge here and there whenever it needs it. So yeah, that's Apple Watch Series 8. I really like it, but perhaps I should have gone with the Series 7. On the weekends though, I don't wear my Apple Watch and I try my best to not think about content and things like that too much, so I've started wearing mechanical watches instead. And my main watch is a Nomos Club Campus 38, which is this beautifully minimal, hand-winding, incredible piece of German craftsmanship, and I really, really love that thing. But recently, and despite my kind of love of pastel and kind of simple things, I've picked up this completely blacked out Seiko 5 Sports, which I honestly absolutely love. This is such a good looking watch and it kind of goes with absolutely any outfit. I don't have to worry about it. I've paired it with a leather NATO, which just makes it feel a bit more premium because the strap you get with them isn't great. And this is just such a fantastic look. And because it's not too expensive, I don't have to worry about scratching it or anything like that. You also get so much for your money with Seiko. You know, you get the see-through case back, you get automatic movement and hand widening and all those sorts of things, which are really, really important. And you get it all for like a really good price. So if you're looking for an entry-level drug into kind of the watch world, check out Seiko. They're just awesome. To wrap up some things which haven't changed either, so I'll quickly go over these. I'm still using the Orbit key organizer to keep all of my keys nice and together. This just means they don't jangle around unless you have a car key attached to it, which I do, but generally speaking keeps everything nice and organized. They all flip out for easy use, which I really, really like. I'm still using my Herschel card wallet, which is a super minimal way just to hold cards. Cash is just kind of not really used that much in the UK anymore, so I've kind of switched everything over to my phone or to cards. And lastly is the original AirPods Pro. I've tried out a bunch of different wireless headphones. I tried out the Nothing Ear ones, I tried out the Edifier ones, I've tried out some Sony ones, but I always end up coming back to the AirPods Pro. They're just the best for noise cancellation. They've got a really great sound and they pair with iPhone and Mac and iPad just so seamlessly. It just makes so much sense for me to use these. What I will say though is I've had these since 2019 and I think they're slowly on their way out. The battery life lasts about a week now and I was getting like a full month of use out of them. And when I do put them into my ears, they kind of fuzz a little bit. But yeah, AirPods Pro, absolutely fantastic, especially if you're in the Apple ecosystem. So that wraps up my everyday essentials, but I did want to talk about the maybes too. And these are things I take with me perhaps if I'm working away from the office all day, or if I just need to take a bag somewhere so I can carry things back or something like that. So we might as well start with the bag which holds all of these maybes. And this is the Fjallraven Kanken Laptop 17, just in the black colorway. This is kind of my day pack of choice at the moment and I really, really like it. It's kind of got that iconic design. It's not a perfect bag by any means. I think the straps are a little bit wimpy if you're going anywhere kind of for a long time. And the bottle pocket isn't great. You have to buy an extra attachment for that, which is just wild. But otherwise, I do really like the bag and it's perfect if I'm just nipping out for the day. One of my own customizations I've done to that bag, if you can call it a customization, is to turn it into a small camera pack too. I bought this camera insert from Earth and there's space in there for kind of 3 bodies or for 2 lenses and a body. What I really like about it as well is it's pretty much the same width as the Kanken bag, so it sits in there really kind of solidly and it feels like part of the bag, which is something which I was going for. One of the things it it also carries as well, which is something which is very much a maybe for me, it depends on the day and all those sorts of things, is it holds my Fujifilm X-E4. Now I don't take this with me everywhere, I'd be totally lying if I said I do, but I always keep it in there, and recently I've been enjoying the Moment Cine Bloom filter on this, which kind of gives all the photos out of this camera this kind of hazy look, which is really nice, works really well with lights, it kind of makes them bloom out, it just looks really beautiful. What I like about the Fuji camera though is with the film simulations, I don't have to edit anything on here. I just take everything in JPEG and I post it immediately. So if I'm going somewhere like big for the day, like for London or to another city or something like that, it's nice to have this on me. This is such a little tiny camera and it just produces such amazing results. It's also really useful if I want to pick up some kind of more detailed video. The 4K out of this camera is absolutely wonderful, and the Eterna film simulation from Fuji is just something I really love to work with. Lens-wise, I've been loving the 35 f2, but I've also got the 15-45 kit lens, which is really cheap, but it's actually really good, and I really like that lens too. So yeah, that's the Fujifilm setup, which sits inside the little Earth bag, which sits inside the Kanken bag, which I always take with me if I've got room. You may remember from last time, but one of the things in my maybes was this custom Game Boy Pocket I had made for me. And while I really like it, I've actually stopped taking it around with me pretty much completely because the battery life on this is dreadful. I get about an hour out of it. And not to mention, on top of that, my Pokemon Red game got deleted because the power went out while I was saving. And since then, I just tried to start Pokemon Silver, but honestly the energy for me to do that has just gone. So I might start looking into one of those small emulators instead. But yeah, I still really like this, but I don't take it with me anymore. From last time as well, I'm still using the Chili's coffee mug. This is great if I'm going out to get a coffee, if I remember to take it. But the thing is, this thing is actually so good that it holds the heat in almost too much. So by the time I'm home from going to the coffee shop, I have to take the lid off and drink it like that because it's still so hot. But yeah, this is really good. They come in a bunch of colorways. I've always enjoyed Chili's stuff. Okay, to round off the maybes list, and this is something I'll take with me if I feel like I'll need it, it's either the iPad Air or my M1 Pro MacBook Pro. This obviously depends on what I'm going to be doing during the day, and most of the time I will take the iPad with me, but if I know I'm going to be doing some video editing of any kind, then I pretty much just take the MacBook with me. This is the 14-inch base model M1 Pro MacBook Pro, and no, it's not too heavy to carry around with you, it's absolutely fine. And because it's 14-inch as well, I can just slide it into my bag, no problem. But as you know, I love the iPad, and the iPad Air just has this great combination of features, and for me, if I'm taking my bag out, it almost feels silly to not include it, so I always bring it with me. So that just about rounds up all of my everyday carry tech, which I'm taking with me at the moment, and it will be for the most part of this year too. But as ever, I'd like to hear from you, so if you've got any things you think I should check out, or if you've been using anything specifically that you think is cool, let me know in the comments below, and as ever, I will see you all in the next one.